Hello, Dazzle. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me today. I'm glad that you were here. Today, I'm going to be doing a game review of Enshrouded. Enshrouded is a game that promises a mysterious, sprawling world full of perils, puzzles, and plenty of opportunity to question your life choices. Developed by Keen Games, this action-adventure title throws you into a post-apocalyptic fantasy setting that feels like a mashup of survival mechanics, RPG progression, and enough lore to keep a medieval historian awake at night. But does it live up to its potential, or does it get lost in its own fog of ambition? Spoiler, it's complicated, but in a good way. Strap in as we dive headfirst into Enshrouded Misty's world, covering everything from its stunning visuals to its replayability. If you're wondering whether this is a must-play title or just another game to shroud into your Steam backlog, keep watching. If Enshrouded were a painting, it would be one of those masterpieces that pulls you in and makes you forget your surroundings. The game's art direction is nothing short of breathtaking. It combines vibrant, almost painterly colors with a gritty realism that is a perfect match to its post-apocalyptic fantasy setting. The world is shrouded in a dynamic mist that creates a sense of mystery and danger around every corner. Forests feel alive with towering trees and dappled sunlight, while ruins rise dramatically from the landscape, hinting at a bygone era of splendor. The glowing mushrooms and rocks scattered throughout the world add a touch of magical wonder, and the lighting, whether from the warm glow of a sunset or the eerie shimmer of moonlight, sets a tone that is hard to forget. But it is not all perfect. Occasionally, the mist feels more like a smokescreen for less detailed textures in the background, and while the overall visuals are impressive, the NPC designs can sometimes feel a tad generic compared to the stunning world that they inhabit. That said, the art style does an excellent job of immersing you in the game's lore-heavy environment. If you're a sucker for jaw-dropping landscapes and atmospheric detail, Enshrouded will not disappoint. Just don't get too distracted gawking at the scenery. You'll need your wits about you to survive. The soundscape of Enshrouded is like the supporting actor that steals the show. The music transitions seamlessly between haunting melodies and rousing orchestral swells, perfectly setting the tone for both quiet exploration and high-stakes combat. Whether you're roaming through misty woods or gearing up to face a hulking enemy, the soundtrack makes each moment feel cinematic and alive. But let's talk about sound effects. They're sharp, distinct, and brimming with personality. The crackle of your campfire has just enough warmth to make you feel cozy, even while something is probably sneaking up behind you. And the clash of swords is satisfyingly crisp. Ambient noises like the distant hoot of an owl or the rustling of leaves pull you further into the game's world, while the occasional eerie whispers in the mist make you question your life decisions. If there is a critique here, it's that some enemy sounds can get repetitive after a while. How many times can one monster grunt the same way without becoming a running joke? Still, the overall auditory experience is immersive, enhancing every moment of gameplay. Enshrouded spins a tale steeped in mystery, blending post-apocalyptic survival with a rich fantasy backdrop. The story starts with a bang, or rather a fog, as your character awakens in a shrouded world where remnants of a great civilization lie in ruins. The overarching narrative revolves around uncovering what happened to this world and why the land is blanketed in a deadly mist. The lore is deep and meticulously crafted, with ancient texts, cryptic NPCs, and environmental storytelling filling in the gaps. Exploring ruins or stumbling across relics often yields tantalizing breadcrumbs about the past, making discovery feel rewarding. However, the main storyline can sometimes feel overshadowed by the open world freedom. Because if you're not careful, you might spend hours building a fancy house or slaying monsters without much progression on the "why am I here" front. Character-driven moments are sparse, and while the game does a good job of world building, some players might find themselves wishing for more personal stakes or relationships to invest in emotionally. Instead, the story's strength lies in its subtlety. It's not spoon-fed, leaving much to the player's interpretation. If you're the type who loves piecing together the puzzle of a world's history, Enshrouded offers plenty to chew on. Just don't expect a tightly scripted narrative. It's more about the journey than a singular destination. This game embraces ergodic and emergent storytelling. If there is one thing Enshrouded gets absolutely right, it's the world. This isn't just a backdrop. It is a living, breathing entity that constantly reminds you of its past grandeur and present peril. The game's setting balances beauty and menace, immersing you in a sprawling land of lush forests, crumbling ruins, and eerie, fog-covered landscapes. Exploring feels rewarding, with every corner of the map offering a mix of danger and discovery. One moment you're admiring the intricate carvings on an ancient tower, the next you are running for your life because you've accidentally wandered into a shrouded zone that is swarming with enemies. The environmental storytelling is stellar. Each ruin or forgotten village tells a silent story of what came before, encouraging players to connect the dots. The interplay between safety and danger is another highlight. Safe zones feel like a reprieve, places where you can regroup, craft, and prepare for the next venture into the unknown. The shrouded zones, on the other hand, are foreboding and require careful planning to survive. That said, the map can feel overwhelming at times. While the open world design offers freedom, it occasionally leaves you wondering where to go or what to do next. The lack of hand-holding is great for players who enjoy discovery, but may frustrate those who prefer a more guided experience. All in all, the world of Enshrouded is its own character, rich, mysterious, and utterly captivating. Just be sure to keep your sword ready and your map handy. In Enshrouded, the characters you encounter feel more like pieces of the world's puzzle rather than driving forces of the story. While there's an undeniable air of mystery surrounding the NPCs, they often serve as quest givers or lore dispensers rather than deeply developed personalities. That's not to say that they're uninteresting. Many of them are dripping with cryptic dialogue, hinting at their own struggles and the world's tragic past. The blacksmith might offer a vague warning about the dangers of the shroud, while Crowley is likely to ramble on about ancient artifacts with just enough enthusiasm to make you question his sanity. These fleeting interactions add texture, but don't expect emotional connections or major character arcs. On the flip side, your character is essentially a blank slate, which works for the story's sense of mystery, but can make role-playing feel less personal. The focus remains on the world and its secrets, rather than interpersonal relationships, so the game trades emotional resonance for a sense of vast discovery. If you're here for unforgettable companions or heartstring tugging, Enshrouded might not deliver. But as enigmatic pieces of the game's overarching lore, the characters do their job well enough to keep you intrigued. Enshrouded walks the tightrope of difficulty with admirable balance, most of the time. The game's challenge comes from a blend of survival mechanics, combat, and exploration, each offering its own flavor of difficulty to keep you on your toes. Combat is dynamic and rewards careful planning. Swinging your sword or firing your bow feels satisfying, but enemies are no pushovers. Even the lower tier foes can be punishing if you are not paying attention, and stepping into a shrouded zone unprepared is basically an open invitation for a game over screen. Boss encounters in particular are where the challenge spikes. requiring quick reflexes and a keen understanding of your gear and abilities. The survival elements, like resource gathering and crafting, add another layer of difficulty, though not in a way that feels overwhelming. Keeping yourself fed, outfitted, and ready to tackle the foggy unknown adds a sense of accomplishment. However, inventory management can sometimes feel like the real final boss. You'll frequently wish for just a little bit more space in your backpack. Exploration is where the challenge feels the most organic. You're constantly weighing risks versus reward. Do you venture into an ominous ruin hoping for rare loot, or do you stick to safer areas and grind resources? The game rarely holds your hand, which is great for players who love a sense of autonomy, but might frustrate those who prefer clearer direction. There is a decent basic tutorial to walk you through how to do everything, and this information is readily available in your journal if you need to look back at it again later. In short, Enshrouded isn't a game that will coddle you, but it isn't unfair. Whether you thrive on a challenge or find yourself looking for a more cozy building experience, the game will have something to keep you engaged. The game settings allow for a wide array of difficult options to be adjusted to create a gaming experience tailored to your preferences. Enshrouded user's interface is functional, but not without its quirks. The menus are clean and straightforward with a design that prioritizes usability over flair. You've got your standard inventory, crafting, and quest menus all accessible with minimal fuss. The layout makes sense most of the time, so navigating through the various systems feels relatively intuitive. However, there are moments where the UI feels a bit cumbersome. The map could be more helpful, as its lack of clear markers sometimes leaves me wandering aimlessly, trying to remember where exactly I left that treasure or where I was supposed to be finishing that quest. Having the ability to type text into the markers that you make on the map would be a great addition to the game. It is nice that you can see all the recipes in the menu, but finding them isn't always as straightforward as one would like it to be, since it really does require that you can recall which NPC makes the items in the first place. One minor gripe is the inventory system, which can get frustrating as your resources pile up. You'll quickly find yourself wishing for better organization options, or at the very least a few more inventory slots to hold on to all the goodies that you collect on your adventures. Being able to label the chests would go a long way to helping with this issue. Still, the basics work, and the game rarely makes you feel that the UI is actively hindering your progress. What truly sets Enshrouded apart is its unique blend of exploration, survival, and mystery, all wrapped up in a post-apocalyptic fantasy package. The game introduces the concept of a shrouded world, literally veiled in mist, where every corner hides a new challenge or discovery. While many games dabble in survival or RPG elements, Enshrouded takes them to a new level by making the mist itself a central character in the game, affecting everything from combat to resource gathering. The combination of exploration and puzzle solving within a world that's simultaneously beautiful and terrifying isn't entirely new, but it's executed with such a fine balance of atmosphere and tension that it feels fresh. The world feels alive yet foreboding. You can lose yourself in the scenery only to be reminded that you are never truly safe, especially in the shrouded zones where danger lurks just beyond your sight. It's an experience that keeps you on edge, but in a way that feels rewarding rather than frustrating. One of the more unique elements is the environmental storytelling. Instead of relying on cutscenes or lengthy dialogue exchanges, the game lets you piece together the story from the ruins, artifacts, and the NPCs that you encounter. This passive storytelling style allows players to become active participants in uncovering the lore, making each discovery feel personal and significant. Enshrouded offers a strong replay value thanks to its ever-evolving world, dynamic challenges, and multiple ways to approach gameplay. As a survival crafting game, much of the appeal to the game is the ability for players to self-direct their gameplay. There are numerous side quests, hidden areas, and secrets that you can easily miss during your first playthrough. The freedom to choose your path and tackle the game's challenges in any order means that each time that you dive back into the world, you can uncover something new or take a completely different approach to solving puzzles, gathering resources, or interacting with NPCs. Moreover, the crafting and upgrade system provides depth for those who want to perfect their survival and combat strategies. If you're a completionist, there are numerous resources and achievements to collect, crafting recipes to discover, and ways to fine-tune your character and gear. The ability to craft and customize weapons, armor, and shelter keeps players engaged, especially if they want to experiment with different build strategies or challenge themselves by playing with restrictions, such as trying with minimal resources or no combat upgrades or the like. For players who enjoy challenging themselves, Enshrouded includes difficulty settings that adjust both the frequency of enemy encounters and the scarcity of resources. These modes can significantly change how you experience the game. Whether you're looking for a more relaxed experience or a hardcore survival challenge, the difficulty settings ensure that the game remains engaging even for multiple playthroughs. Additionally, the inclusion of co-op multiplayer offers yet another layer of replay value. Teaming up with friends to explore the Shrouded world together, share resources, and tackle tougher enemies creates a dynamic and cooperative experience. It can drastically change how you approach combat and survival, as collaboration becomes key to overcoming the most difficult obstacles. This multiplayer option is an excellent way to keep the game feeling fresh, as each session can bring different strategies and moments of unpredictability. Enshrouded stands out as a compelling survival game with a vast, dynamic world filled with opportunities for exploration and discovery. Its open world helps each playthrough feel unique, while the deep crafting and building mechanics give players the freedom to tailor their experience. Whether you're gathering resources, crafting items, or taking on dangerous enemies, the game offers a satisfying sense of progression. The open world design encourages players to forge their own paths, and the option for both solo and co-op multiplayer adds replayability, making it a great choice for those who enjoy cooperative play and strategy. While Enshrouded excels in its freedom and exploration, its reliance on resource management and survival mechanics may not appeal to everyone. Players who prefer narrative-driven experiences or more structured gameplay might find the lack of a clear story or linear progression less engaging. However, for those who enjoy the challenge of surviving in a hostile environment, discovering hidden locations, and experimenting with different builds, Enshrouded offers an immersive and rewarding experience. An emphasis on creativity, adaptability, and teamwork. It makes it stand out in the survival genre, providing hours of engaging gameplay for those who enjoy the genre's core elements. Well, that's about it for my rambling today. Thanks for coming and spending some time with me. If you liked the video, then click on that like button. It really does help. And until we talk again, you guys be sure to take care of yourselves. Bye!